Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, everybody. How are we doing tonight? Welcome. This is Leader the Only One, and we are back yet another Wednesday. Look at how handsome the co-star of the show is looking right now. Boys, ladies, and gentlemen, Mr. Adrian in the lows. What's up, baby? Golly.
What's up?
God, and you
Why
thought
do you
that
hype me up so much? Why do you hype me up so much?
just whenever you think that 35 episodes is enough to not be creative anymore, right, and do this kind of cool stuff, Adrian comes in and in your face and tells you, "Ha, got another one under this leaf for you, baby." How you doing, man?
Kind of my job.
Kind of your job, dude.
It's kind of my job as a creative director. It's kind of what I have to do. I'm doing good. My allergies are kicking my butt, but besides that, it's a pretty good week. It's been an interesting week. We dropped like 35 degrees here in DFW. It was like a perfect 70 degrees on Monday, and now
It
it's like
was.
like 40 something.
It is.
So,
Dude, I'm looking forward to my little pickleball tournament. It's on Sunday now because it's gonna rain on Saturday. It was this
Yeah.
last Saturday and it rained, right? And it was terrible.
Yeah.
So now it's gonna be on Sunday. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be 55 degrees in the morning though, but that's okay. Don't mind it.
Yeah, you just got to
Cool.
run some laps or something.
36 actually in the morning, 55 in the middle of the day. So it's gonna be chilling.
Yeah,
You know, it is what
yeah.
it is. It's fine.
Yeah.
My duo, the one and only Mr. John's Double Chin Fumbly. How are you doing, bud? Good.
We're doing great.
We're doing great. You and your two chins are hanging out, having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Good, man.
Sir.
What are
my sweet tea?
what do they had for lunch today? You
The
and your
chins?
you and the chins.
Soup. So I would drink the soup and I'd let a little bit drizzle down, so that
Okay.
my chin can get to it.
Perfect.
The problem is it was
Excellent.
tomato soup, so if you look close enough, you can see like lines of red
Uh-huh.
stuff where it's stained.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
intense.
Chat, if you don't know about us, we are really weird. And well, it is
I'm
what it
not
is.
weird.
Well, welcome to the stream, fam. Travis, what's up? What are you up to? If you need prayer tonight, send us a message here or in Discord. You can send us a private message. We love to pray for you. And we have a great team that loves to pray for you. Glad that you are here with us. Everybody say hi to Travis in chat, please. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only. We have to say hi to him. So chat, feel free to say hi to Travis. Hi Travis, how are you doing, baby? Appreciate it. You being here and everybody else that is here. Yo, bro, let's talk about good news, shall we? Let's get this show started, man. Welcome to Bible Talk episode number 36, where we're going to talk still about Friends and not the series, although we could potentially talk about the series as well. And that's okay. It's on HBO now, no longer on Netflix. Sad face, but that's fine. It is what it is. But good news before that, because that's kind of sad news, I guess. Good news, Mr. AI. Hit me, bro. What you got?
I don't know. So there's nothing really that stood out. I mean, the fact that I'm alive and I'm not, I did not succumb to my allergies this weekend.
There you go.
Because that was pretty rough. Never had allergies, keep me bedridden for like almost the entire weekend. I'm pretty sure I slept close to like 20 hours Saturday through Sunday, and it was glorious. So you know what? Praise Jesus for rest. Let's just do that. That's good news.
Hey, man.
Sleep.
Good news. Let's go. Mr. Johns, probably hit me, son. What you got other than your amazing double chin?
Okay. So super exciting news. I feel like this is probably going to change my life, right? So Minecraft has finally, bro, released Realms for console. Okay. So that means that I can do the same thing I was doing before on Minecraft, but with more people. So yeah.
You're gonna have to kind of teach me on Minecraft, dude, because honestly, I've never played it, never found an interest for it, to be quite honest. And everybody plays it around it. No,
yeah,
it's not my jam.
I think it's super fun because I just like to chill, just like to build something, make some traps that blow people up, right? But there's no real competitive side to it other than making traps that blow people up.
Okay.
So it's kind of it.
But the thing is, if you die, right? There's no coming back from the dead, right? Nope. That's the cool thing about that. You lose all your progress and stuff.
It is.
It's like
super
a battle
fun.
royale.
So, like you can, yeah, it is. So like a lot of people, they'll like do, I don't know, like they'll have bases and they'll have like a week. Like you'll have a week to build your base, do everything. It's like a battle royale, right? You don't die. And then there'll be like safe places and things like that. And so it's just, it's fun.
There you go. I like that. Good news for me, fellas. I don't have much of good news other than I am like excited about my pickleball tournament this weekend. Like I said, I'm playing with my brother-in-law Kevin, so I am super pumped. We're practicing on Saturday, so really looking forward for Saturday. Saturday we're gonna be indoors or outdoors, depending how the weather is. But the point is, we're practicing against some good players. So I cannot wait. I'll be streaming that, and I recently bought. You might be good enough to tell me, AI, if I did a good buy or not. Actually, speaking of which, because you're Mr. Technology guy. I bought a Rode Wireless Go system microphone for streams, so that way I can be mic'd up while playing tennis and pickleball, because I feel like I cannot interact with you guys, the viewers, right? And so with that, it's a wireless system, microphone system that you just put in here, and it's what they use for like NFL. Like that's why I looked it up. They had like Russell Wilson mic'd up for the matches and their trainings and stuff, and that's what they use. And it was, because it's, I don't know, there's like this professional, really expensive ones, like fancy ones. Like that's a Go version that is very popular in sports. What pros use is like the real version. They're like $500 without the mic. It's just the receiver and the transmitter, right? This ones were like $100 or something. And so I figure that with a nice omnidirectional mic will do the trick and I'm excited to try it. So it should be good. I'll be mic'd up playing tennis and pickleball, so it should be fun. You guys will be able to hear all the trash talking that I do to the opponents and talk about their weaknesses and stuff. One day I'll play Adrian and you'll hear all the bad stuff that I gotta say about him live. That's gonna be exciting.
Or all the times that
in.
you regret hitting to my forehand.
I'm not gonna hit to your forehand, but your backhand is also nice. I'm not sure where to hit. I'm probably just gonna go to the net or some. I don't know. Try to
There you
get you
go.
off balance, like slice to your backhand, get to the net, close on the course, something. I don't know. You're gonna be a challenging player to play, dude. You didn't used to. Now you're scary.
Nah,
You got
nah,
really
if
good
we're,
at like 2 years, bro.
if we're gonna talk about trash talk, I still remember what someone told me you originally thought of my skill when you first met me back in
Oh,
2015.
remind me. I remember this, but remind us all.
How
So put
you
me
said
under the
I
bus.
was all talk and that I had no actual game.
Sounds like the Adrian I know.
That see, I'm not the only one. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
I mean, at least I play tennis better than I play first-person shooter games, so I'll give myself that.
The biggest of facts. The biggest. Honestly, I've never heard something more factual in my entire life.
I'm really good at assisting people.
That's funny. Yo, are you gonna play for my team or no? Actually, speaking of which, I forgot about that because we already started to register and stuff. Yeah, you said you wanted to play, right?
I mean, no one else has picked me up. I don't think anyone is willing to pay for my free agency contract. So
easy. Let's do it. What do you mean no one wants to play? You haven't talked to like nobody that wants to play in Fort Worth with you?
honestly,
No way,
like
bro.
I'm
No
coaching,
way.
I'm coaching a 3-0 women's team that I taught at from like beginners. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really proud of these ladies. They're like middle aged, like 40s, 50s ladies that literally picked up a racket. Like they came to me and said, "Hey, there's a group of friends that like we want to play tennis." Like 6 months ago, picked up a racket, and now they're playing a 3-0 spring league.
That's
So I'm really
unbelievable.
excited about that.
Good for you, dude. Those are the most exciting. Are you gonna go to their matches and stuff?
I'm gonna try,
Yeah.
but we have like a Monday night class that I teach the group of them. So
That's amazing. That's always the best feeling. Like I had the same thing happen to me a couple of times, and they were the best like things to watch because well, they're gonna get killed, right? The first few times, but they're gonna
Of
come
course.
back so hungry, so
Oh, yeah.
hungry. They're ready to listen. They're ready to be coached, and they're ready to learn and get better. And then, just a few matches later, not even like a season later, bro. Next thing you know, they're just shattering people. Like it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
wild to see the.
Well, they're all
transformation.
nervous right now for their first
Of
like
course,
official match,
and they're
that's,
gonna
like, for
get
me, like,
killed,
it's
and that's
fun.
okay. And that's
Yeah.
okay. That's totally fun.
So right now I'm enjoying coaching, but no, if you want to pick me up, put me on your team. I'll
Okay.
play for you.
There you go. But you gotta call me coach still. Put me in coach.
So
Otherwise,
you want me to call coach leader?
Coach leader, yes. Wait,
Co-
that's kind of weird.
Coach leader, the only coach.
Fam, welcome to Bible Talk, bro. Welcome everybody. That's kind of like our intro. We do it every single week. We like to, cause we started this whenever COVID started, and it was so rough to start the shows. So mind you, this is kind of the new trend that we have. We just chill for a minute. You guys get to know us a little bit. We talk about silly stuff, good stuff, and we open up to you. So welcome everybody. We'd love to hear about you. Let us know in the comments below, or if you are wherever you are, whether YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Just comment how are you doing, how are you feeling, what's good, tell us some good news. We'll love to hear from you guys. Or than that, we're gonna get going to explaining what this is. So real quick, Bible Talk. What Bible Talk is obviously kind of like this type of podcast, I guess you will, like live podcast where me and my two really good friends get to talk about the Bible just because we simply love it that much. We get to talk about it, discuss about it, point our opinions and kind of deep down into like topics, right, that are important to understand. And we jump all over the Bible. We've been in the New Testament, Old Testament, kind of a little bit of everything. And so it's pretty fun. What this is not though, by any means is number one, we're in no church, that I don't think I've ever said this before, but just in case you guys were kind of wondering, this is no church or ministry. This is really just us having a really good time, We're gamers, we're streamers, we love what we do, right? We're content creators, and this is just one of those opportunities that we have. The platform, we want to share with you guys some of our biggest passion. And so, please mind you, this is not a place to argue or fight or get into controversial topics. This is not the platform. But Mr. Double Chin Jones Fumbly will always fight you if you want to fight him. So just join the Discord, and feel free to send him a message, and he'll get talking to you and stuff with those controversial things that you know you can think of, and controversial questions and stuff. He really likes doing that. I love talking about him. I'm terrible at discussing or arguing, and so maybe not me. And then don't forget, we got Travis there on Discord as well, who's our prayer warrior, who will always be praying for you. Okay, are we ready, fellas, or what? What's the dealio? Are we good? Are we ready to roll?
Super good.
Always.
The goodest.
Adrian, hit us out with a little recap of what we're going through, because this is part 3 of our series of Friends, bro. Let's get it.
So like we're talking about like friends, like in the Bible and stuff, and like in the beginning there was nothing, and then there was like a whole bunch of stuff that happened afterwards. But man was like Adam was a man, and he was a lonely man, and God said you shouldn't be lonely, so he made woman named Eve, and that was his friend and partner in crime, the first crime actually. And then I don't know, last week I don't know, what did we talk about last week? We talked about what the basis of a good friendship is. It should be on like, you know, a good foundation, and we talked about how it should be. I can't. That's clapping right.
Bravo, sir.
John, how are you able to hold yourself together?
I'm dying inside.
Oh man. Yes, and yes. But we also talk about the guide to true friendship. We talk about loyalty, right, and secrets, and not sharing secrets and stuff.
Oh yeah, and we talked about how much of a gossip I was last week too.
That is correct. People got to know you for who you truly are, dude.
Yep.
Scary.
We talked a little bit about Barney Fife, I think.
The what?
Barney Fife. You don't know who Barney Fife is?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, I guess we didn't talk about Barney Fife. Must have been the other podcast I do.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
And by podcast, I mean me. I just talk into my phone alone in the closet.
No, boys. Okay. Well, guys. Yes, it was. That was an intro. Absolutely. Adrian never fails to make the best of the intros.
What's up, Kevin?
What's up, Kevin? I like us to. We left Proverbs 17 verse 9 up here in my screen, which is one of the verses that we read through the series. Just a quick reminder. This is not. This is the from the first episode, and so he says he has covered a transgression seeks love, but he that harpeth on a matter separate chief friends. Actually, that was last week's. When it comes to talk about secrets, and this is important because we're gonna stay in Proverbs today. Surprise! Just because Proverbs is amazing when it comes down to talking about friendship. It's such a unique book. The Proverbs of Solomon, right? And written by one of the wisest men on earth that has ever lived, which is pretty dope. So this is pretty cool. So just hang in tight. There's not much we're gonna read today in Proverbs, but it's gonna tie in good into our series, and there's still gonna be a lot of leftover to talk about. So let's keep that in mind. Are we ready to read, Mr. Jones Fumbly? Do we need to warm up?
Oh no, never. We don't warm up.
We don't warm
just do
up.
it.
We just did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Just like singers. Singers don't warm up. They just sing. Yep.
Yeah.
Athletes, you'll never see them warm up.
Nope.
Never. They just do it.
Never. They just go for it.
Do
right?
it. Nike. That's why that's their motto. Just do it.
What do they
No
do
warm-up.
during commercial break then?
No preparation. No goal setting. What do you mean before? What? They sit
What do they do
there,
during commercial?
they
Oh.
stare at their competitors, and they think to themselves, "Man, that guy's way better than me," and then they just do it.
Okay.
Sounds plausible. I believe it.
Sure.
I would know. I am
I guess.
the athlete. Oh my gosh. If you saw everything below my neck, you'd be like, "Dang, that guy's a liar. He's an athlete at lying." A man of many companions may come to ruin, but there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
making this bigger for you, chat.
We're like less than 10 minutes in and I'm running out of content.
Dude, it's okay. We read this Bible verse first week, and what we need to talk about today is we're going to talk about how friendships are more than just a relationship, right? So that's kind of the topic for today. So let's dive into that first, right? I think I have quite a few friends that I can feel that are closer than me, but it's kind of interesting because closer to me than a brother. But it's kind of interesting because it's a different relationship, right? With my brothers I can go out and kind of, I mean, I'll hit him in the shoulder once or twice from time to time just as a joke, right? And like we'll always be like hanging around them, and it's kind of like cool to like support each other and also play like soccer with each other or tennis or something. But there's something different about having like a best friend who not only will do those things, but it's also like you can also like lean on to like deep stuff where the brother's like, yeah, just suck it up, buttercup, get up and get going type of thing, right? But I feel like a friend, a really good friend, like a best of friend, is different. He'll like listen to you or she. You'll be cared for. They'll be like in your mind. The brother's like, oh yeah, he's my little brother's going through a little breakup with his girlfriend. He'll be fine. Whereas the friend is like, dude, he must be crying right now. What do I do for him, right? What I need to text him? Should I call him? It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's a different vibe, and hence, I feel like it's a little bit different. It's more than just a friendship. What are your thoughts on that, guys? What are you thinking on that? I don't know. Just spitting out there. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is this, you guys feel different with like your best friends kind of thing? Do you feel like it's the same as your brothers?
I think I'm kind of in the same boat as Adrian because my brothers are pretty young compared to me.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so my relationship with my brothers is I try to make it more of like a mentor relationship. But then obviously there's so many brothers, right? So I pick on them and stuff. But well, I do that to everybody though. All right.
Okay. Are you gonna do that to me?
Oh, no, because it's hard to do it on the internet to bully people, because it just becomes cyberbullying and it's not fun at all because you can't see them cry. You can't see them going through the turmoil that you're putting them through. So it's just not the same. It's not the same emotional trauma.
I feel you.
What was the question? Because I feel like that was not actually an answer at all. That's just me rambling about nonsense.
Uncle John. If you feel like with your best friends, like the kind of relationship that you have with your best friend versus the relationship that you have with your brother, right?
I think I've had to put more work into my relationship with my best friend than my brothers. Because you don't start out with like, I have to love him because he's my brother. You know what I mean? It's I like this person. I enjoy spending time with them. We're fighting right now, but I value them and I want them to be a part of my life. You know what I mean? So what do I need to do, or what do I need to fix inside myself in order to continue to build this friendship? You know what I mean? So it takes a little bit more. I put in more effort is the only difference. You know what I mean? So Lauren, for example, her and her sister are much closer than I am with any of my siblings. And I think that's just because they've suffered through hard times together and they've worked through differences. You know what I mean? They've put more effort into it than I have.
By the way, for those of you guys joining us for the first time, John's not a jerk. He has joined the dark side for sure.
Oh,
Amen to that.
100%.
100%.
100%.
We joke around chat a lot, so just mind us or mind you, or I don't know how you say this, but just let it fly. We're jokesters in here. Hey, I
Yeah.
kind of want to hear your opinion, and as we hear you, I also kind of want to put couple chats up here, but go for it, dude. Tell us what you think.
So, none of
Hmm.
my siblings I would consider like my best friend. But I am it's like, John said it, like I'm closer to my sister than I am to my brother just because of the age difference. And it wasn't even really so much like the differences between our age, but just so much like where in life did we actually get close. Like, for example, like once my sister like turned 21 and after she graduated college, then we started having a little bit more like grown up conversations. And so I felt like we've been getting closer and closer ever since. Especially as she was job hunting and was going through like her internship and stuff like that, like things that I could relate to. But even then, like as she was experiencing college, she and I bonded over that and talked about it a little bit more. Like my brother, even though like we played video games together as he is growing up, and like I mean we definitely like I know like in the pre-show we were talking about like Destiny and Destiny 1, like him and I definitely like went on raids like all the time together, like
That's cool.
with all of our like
Mhm.
mutual friends. Like it was
That's
really
so
cool.
dope.
It was amazing that like at 25 years old I'm relying on
Mhm.
like a group of like 12-year-olds who are like 10 times better than I am. Like it's crazy how good these kids are. But anyways, but it wasn't until like he started going through like high school stuff, girls stuff,
Mhm.
like that we've been getting closer and closer, and again like talking like more grown up y. That I feel like we've gotten closer. Everything before that was very much like, yeah, like this is my little brother and I'm gonna take him to like band practice or whatever. But it's only been within the last couple years that I feel like we've actually been friends.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
I like that. It's a good point. Everybody's different. I think
But
it's
it's
good.
also a choice, like I said, like
Oh,
like
100%.
friendship is a choice, right? So like we're brothers and sisters by blood, but it wasn't until we decided to choose to open up dialogue and we chose to spend time together and have game nights and stuff like that that we
Mhm.
actually started to form a friendship.
Mhm.
Me next, sir. I do not condone bullying. Never should anyone ever do that. Cyberbullying is the worst. Just don't do it. It's not good, right? You don't know what you're doing to that person. It's the worst.
Someone didn't feel pretty good about his
I felt all
joke.
guilty and stuff, man. You ever do that? You guys ever? Okay, hold on. Real talk though. Has anyone ever had that moment where you say something and immediately God's just like, bro, you should have said that? Like
Yeah, all the
immediately,
time.
immediately,
All
bro.
the time, bro. It's okay.
Oh, it feels bad. It
It
feels
does.
really, really bad. I did that for me. Okay, yeah.
Anyways, Kevin says, I feel like most friends you only go on the surface level, but with friends you can. Okay, wait. Okay. I think you meant to
You want
say
me to
one
do
of
it?
those two brothers and one of those two friends, Kevin, because there's two friends here, right? I feel like with most friends you only go to the surface, but with friends
Hmm.
you can go deeper with what's really going on in your life. As a Christian, I only have a few friends that I really share. I think you meant to say one of those two are brothers and friends. Deep things like with and pray with each other. That's a really good point. And that's for me what brings the closest, not necessarily the blood relation. And we're gonna talk about that today, guys. That's the whole idea of it, and see the importance of friendship. So let's actually dive into that. Let's go to Proverbs 27, verse 10.
Oh shoot, that's me.
And that is you, Mr. Jones
Proverbs
Fobley.
what?
27,
27.
verse 10.
I'm there.
Okay.
Do not forsake your friend and your father's friend. And do not go to your brother's house in the day of your calamity. Better is a neighbor who is near than a brother who is far away. We read this last week too, right?
We did, and this is
Okay.
now we're taking all this spin-off, understanding what kind of relation, because we talk about what not to do in a relationship, but what we didn't talk about was what kind of relationship we're having, right? It's a big difference, and I think that's really, really important. We kind of done some like do's and don'ts so far. I don't know if you guys kind of noticed. So, right, let me pull up the notes, right? So, like, okay, so we talk about how solitude was a problem before even sin, which is a big deal, right? Has nothing to do with a relationship. We talk about how isolation is bad, has nothing to do with how the relationship is. We talk about how it is important to be a friend with God, which is kind of a relationship, but not really talking about the relationship. Then we talk about the guide to true friendships, 3 verses in Proverbs. Then we talk about how loyalty is important in friendships, but we still haven't talked about the actual relationship. And then we talk about how spreading secrets, which is this, the 1 verse right before that. Uh, in the contrary, we need to, help each other, counsel each other. It's much better. So we've done do's and don'ts. Now we are studying these verses and understanding what kind of relationship the friendship is. We nailed one already, that is closer than a brother. Number 2, this is more of a covenant, more like a contract. And I would like us to actually understand from the Bible's perspective, what does that mean? Because I feel like people tend to take the relationships that we get involved through the Bible not as seriously. Like, number one, and this is something that you hear in church all the time, that makes sense, but sometimes it just doesn't. It's like people tell you, hey, work on your relationship with God. I'm like, what you mean? I pray to the guy all day. I read from time to time. What, like, what do you mean I gotta work on my relationship with God, right? And so it's kind of like a cliche type of thing, but they're absolutely right. It's very, very important because a relationship is not like any other relationship, right? Then you have like the new covenant with us, which we're going to talk briefly about, and how that is something in itself, right? Which is massively important to us. Um, and then you have like the love for one another that was mentioned in the Bible many times, that is included in one of the commandments. It's also included in like whenever Jesus talked to the apostles and John, and how he loved them and he loved everybody else. How he commanded us to go and preach, because out of love we need to make sure that the gospel gets out there. So there's all that kind of stuff that goes into a relationship, but this one's special because it's that brotherly love, that friendship love, right? Which is, I think, unique. So just throwing that out there, it's relationships are quite special, or quite unique in the Bible, and they're all important. Specifically, the one with God. So I'm kind of curious. Let's read up on some stuff. Let's go into the Old Testament, John, real quick, and let's go to Jeremiah. We're still in the Old Testament. Jeremiah is one of the prophets. Boom, 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 boom.
Jeremiah what?
Jeremiah. Oh, I'm in Nehemiah. My bad. Jeremiah, chapter 31st. And we're going to read verses 31 through 34. For those of you that don't know this, it's a highlighted verse, which means that we read about this long time ago. This is within episode single digits, I think, that we read this. But we're not reading it once again because it's that important. Go for it, John.
Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah.
All the way to 34.
All right. Not like the covenant that I made with their fathers on the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. My covenant they broke, though I was their husband, declares the Lord. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, declares the Lord. I will put my law within them, and I will write it on their hearts. And I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And no longer shall each one teach his neighbor and each his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall know me, from the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more.
Wow. I mean, a little refresher, right, for y'all that missed our new covenant talk episode. I'm actually gonna look it up. Faith cover fears. Episode 20. Things we learn from Paul. Incredible story. Good news. Bible talk. Good news. That's a good episode. We live by grace. We live by grace. Old covenant versus new covenant. This is episode. You guys can see it here on the screen. Episode 7. Nope, I missed it. Episode. Wow, I don't have numbers. I didn't have numbers back then. 16, 15, 14. Episode 14 of Bible Talk. Because we live under the grace. And hear me out, fellas, right? This is very, very cool. This is God talking to his people about a promise that is massive, right? This is one of those things that like do it's like a almost like a with friends and stuff, like you spit on your hand and they spit on their hands and then you handshake, right? Or like
Spit
I don't
shake.
know. Yeah, spit shake, whatever that. Or
No,
like
we didn't do that. So you take a needle and you put a pin prick in your hand till it starts bleeding.
Blood, right?
And then,
blood.
Yeah, and then you shake hands. That way you transfer blood diseases.
Ah, there you go. Thank you. Appreciate that.
The Florida way, son.
Or pinky promise. This is more special than this because in the Old Testament, and Mr. AI, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Thank you. Can you explain
we
why?
all needed that.
Why? In the Old Testament, the people would not. Well, number one, they had to like sacrifice animals for their sins, right? To repent their sins. Number two, whenever they died, they wouldn't go to heaven or hell because the promise wasn't yet fulfilled. They will go to like Abraham's bosom, right? If they'll die Christians, or they would go to hell, which was right next to Abraham's bosom. Hence why Lazarus could see the people in hell, and people in hell is like, Lazarus, Moses, tell Lazarus to give me water and whatever. So it was like completely different times. And now Prophet Jeremiah says, hey, listen, man, there's going to be a time where I'm going to be their God. They're going to be my people. But more importantly, I'll forgive their sins and I'll remember no more. Where there was no need for all this stuff. It was a massive change, right? Now, mind you, and I think this is really important where ties into our friendship. This is God's relationship with his people. Look at the kind of stuff that God's doing for his people. I think we tend to forget the kind of relationship that we have with him, and the kind of stuff that he does with us on that relationship, right? I think that's a big deal. People forget that stuff. I think. I don't know. And that's why I said, correct me if I'm wrong. But I do feel like we tend to take this lightly from time to time. We tend to just wash it off and forget that it even happened. But yet here we have an amazing God who is, as part of his promise, doing something marvelous for the people in the Old Testament and giving us an amazing new covenant to us who are living today under the period of grace. Undeservingly, mind you, right? As part of this relationship that we have with him. So I don't know. That's kind of my 2 cents from the new covenant type of stuff. I'm sure that you guys, I want to go around the table and see how you guys feel about this and attaching it to. But I feel like this is a big deal that we tend to forget. And I do believe that whenever the Bible and Proverbs talk, because it's the Old Testament as well, about a relationship with a friend, how closer this can be, it's talking about kind of stuff like this that goes above and beyond from sometimes what a brother or sister would do. Those are my 2 cents. What are your thoughts on the whole situation, John?
Oh, hold on. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah, not like the covenant that I made with their fathers on the day when I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. So they're talking about Jesus, and they're talking about the new era, right, which is the era of grace.
Well, it's a
That's
prophecy
interesting.
of the new era.
It's a
Right.
prophecy because this is the Old Testament, right? This is Jeremiah telling them it's going to happen.
This is interesting. I don't know. I'd have to read this more. This is really complex because I don't know if this is talking about a lot of things. Honestly, oh, sorry about
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff in there, dude. Do you
Like,
remember? Do you
hmm,
remember when we talk about this, living
I
by grace, and how blessed we
honestly,
are?
I got the memory of a goldfish, man. It's in there somewhere. I'm sure if we went back and talked about it again, the same stuff would pop out. But
Dude, it's
uh,
amazing.
this
I
is
mean, we.
interesting. So, like this part right here. So, know the Lord, for they shall all know me. From the
Yep.
least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will
Yep.
remember their sin no more. Right.
Yeah.
And
That's a
so that's
big
interesting
deal.
because he's essentially saying that every single one of them is going to be saved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
No.
okay, hold on.
No.
So this is
Meaning.
talking about Christians. This is talking about Christians.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, I understand. So he's not saying that every human being is going to be saved. He's saying that Christians will be us. He will
Mhm.
not see our sin anymore. Okay, I
God's
understand. I
people.
understand.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. I'm understanding now. I was trying to because I was looking at it in the context of the Jews, and I was like, every single Jew is going to be saved, but that's not happening now. So this can't be what it's talking about. Sorry. This is interesting. Yeah, this is cool. Know the Lord, for they shall all know me.
Yep.
From the least of them to the greatest, declares the Lord. Yeah, honestly, I can't add anything to this. This is super straightforward now.
Okay. AI thoughts on it, or you don't have anything to add either?
I mean, I'm I do I'm trying to relate it to Friends though. You know, so the way that I see this and I take this is right. This is a prophecy, right, from the prophet Jeremiah, literally thousands of years before Christ. And if I were to take the scenario and kind of put it into a very modern analogy, it would be something like Back to the Future type of movie where before cell phones existed, here's this movie that shows a device where like one person can look at a device and see another person. And it looks so futuristic. And yet we have FaceTime. We have all this technology that was only science fiction not even a lifetime ago, right? Like when we were growing up, the ability to see another person on the screen was so far beyond us, and yet we're so used to it today with everything that is social media and the technology that we have. And talking about how um I guess the one thing that I can do to really like kind of tie this all together is just the fact that you know people can take it for granted because they didn't know life without it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for example, high speed internet, the kids these days will never understand what it was like to wait 6 hours to download 3 megabytes
One
of,
song.
of an MP3 song,
Yep.
you know, uh, or have to, hang up the phone in order to use the internet or
Mm-hmm.
use the internet without, or you have to stop using the internet in order to call someone, right? Um, and so I guess like in relation to Friends, that can almost apply too,
Mm-hmm.
especially the longer and the closer you are with someone. I feel like it could be really easy to just to take that friendship for granted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because you're just so used to them, you feel like you can be comfortable and sometimes maybe get too comfortable that all of a sudden you could potentially alienate that friendship just because since like for example, right, since you have so gotten used to just like how chill you are, with a friend or with a best friend, you might stop trying, right? Like we see this time and time again, like you call someone a friend, but then for some reason, like, you don't know how they've been feeling towards their spouse, or maybe you were a bachelor of friends when you were both single, and then all of a sudden, you were so used to partying and going out and getting drunk, taking shots, that you completely ignored the fact that your bachelor friend is in a relationship, and he's not spending as much time with you, and now you're getting angry because he's not going out, rather than being happy that he is in a new relationship. So something like that, right? Like that's the best I can do to tie it in. I don't know, that one was a stretch. I did the best I could.
That's fine. Let's start it on more with the Bible as well, so you guys can understand what we're talking about. Because I think it gets tricky understanding the relationship part of it. I think it's easier to understand the do's and the don'ts and what but talking about the actual relationship, I think it's complicated. Let's read Proverbs chapter 17, verse 17. I think it's really good. 17:17, and this is a new one that we've not read. I'm actually gonna do a yellow. I think this is one of the yellow ones. Boom. And that'll be you, Mr. Johns Fumbly.
A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
I like this, right? Because it's talking about two different types of relationships. Friends and brothers. It's funny because he's saying a brother is born for adversity, not necessarily. I don't think necessarily he's talking about blood born, because you need sometimes people that are there for you in adversity, and that now becomes a brother. But then you have the other Bible verse in Proverbs that says, friends stick closer than a brother. So now you're mixing two types of relationships and taking it deeper. Thoughts on that? Right? Thoughts on that? And guys, by the way, mind you, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13th friendship verse that we read in Proverbs.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is crazy.
But on topic, two types of relationships. What does that mean? Let's talk about that for a second.
So I think it's important to know what love means, right? So a friend loves at all times. So a friend is, I feel like anytime you're loving someone or you love someone, that's the best possible thing you could ever do, right? So, and a brother is born for adversity. So if a brother loves you at all times, then would they not help you through adversity? Right? So I feel like in this situation, it's a little bit different, right? So I feel like a brother, typically their objectives are usually the same as yours, especially back then, right? If someone is harassing the family back then, oftentimes if, like, let's say you're Abraham, right? Someone's harassing, like, let's say someone's harassing his sheep or trying to steal him or whatever, right? His sons and all of their brothers are essentially soldiers in this situation. You know what I mean? And I feel like here is kind of outlining that your brother is there to help you through adversity, right? Your brother is in the same thing as you oftentimes, especially when you're younger. And they're there as a brother in arms almost. You know what I mean? To help you through those things.
Good point. Adrian, do you have anything to add on to this?
It's interesting the way that it's worded, and I'm trying to dissect it right now, because it says a friend loves at all times. That makes sense, but it says a brother is born for a time of adversity.
Yep.
As if a brother, whether blood or
not
whatever relationship brings about that brotherhood, it was predestined, like was made by God for this purpose. It was to share
Mm-hmm.
in that brotherhood, that fellowship for times of adversity, right? So you could
Mm-hmm.
have lots of friends, sharing a drink, sharing a beer, barbecue, whatever, sharing that love, right? But when push comes to shove, right, and there's adversity, whether it's financial, emotional, or whatever, like there is someone, there is a brother that was born to be there for you for that difficult time. So I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm. I do believe like this is a really good example of the type of relationship we're talking about now, right? Because it's not just we're best friends. It means so much more to us, and I feel like everybody that has best friends can see this clearly. I'm curious to what love means on Hebrew. So I'm pulling up love, and this is a hab or oh, this is a gabi. Ooh, to be love like or friend, and this is to have affection for either sexually or otherwise. Love like a friend, and this is primitive root, which means there's no word behind this. This is a word on its own, which is beautiful. By the way, shout out to Esor. I forgot to do this at the beginning of the show. Shout out to Esor for letting us do this. It's unbelievable. I just look at this word, right, guys? I'm highlighting it for you guys so we can see how it was written.
We can't see
And
the screen later.
oh, but the duh. Shout out to Esor. You heard my shout out to Esor, fellas. I'm highlighting a love right here, and you can see the translation, the original Hebrew word. And I love this because we get to understand a little bit deeply of what this is, right? And this is whenever it says a primitive root, it always means like, let me see if all has. Yeah, so for instance, all, right? The word all, Hebrew 3605, call, comes from a word, okay? Like it was generated from this word first for it to happen, for it to be a word, okay? Now, mind you, this is a little bit tricky topic, and I don't want to jump into this. But this love, it's a primitive root. It means it's like in its original form. Like it's whenever I say, golly, because English sucks, bro. In Spanish, I can give you guys a ton of examples of how one word you can add like few letters and now becomes a totally different word with a different meaning, right? Love is a great
Conjugation.
conjugate, but not really because love and loving and loved still means the same. In Spanish, if I change a little bit the way that I say that, then it means a total different kind of love. Same with like Hebrew, love on Hebrew, Greek, and Aramis, right? Love in itself is not a thing. There's many types of love and there's many types of words for love, which is a big deal. This is the primitive root for it, meaning the loves that are talked about through the Bible, the different kind of loves come from the primitive word ahab, and so then you have agavi, you have eros, you have the other one. Sorry, I'm not my Greek, Hebrew, and Aramis, but it's a primitive word, which means it's the other love words will be originated from this love word. So that's always really cool to me. Weird to understand in English because again, I use the same word love to love video games, the same word I used to love John and Adrian, the same word I used to love you, chat, the same way that I love the word that I used to love my parents. Makes no sense to me because it's not really the same word unless you tell me that you love Apex as much as you love your parents and your car and your best friend. But hence we have English and it sucks, right? We're so short-handed to understand this, but it's always cool to read. I love this. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Look at my brother coming in clutch. He says like credibility, Incredible. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. Credits. There you go. Exactly. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thank you, brother. I didn't think
That is a good one.
the English would have that kind of feeling, but in Spanish it feels like all the time it's like that. You can adjust the words and it's just completely different. And so this is the same thing, right? It's a mother of it, which is really nice. So friends have this primitive root of having affections, either sexually or otherwise, and to be loved, lovely, a lover, or like, and friend. Okay, there's a whole understanding of it. Now, adversity, on the other hand, I need to get back to it. Boom. Feminine. Oh, so this is a good example, right? This is the feminine of this word, which has another primitive word. It has two primitive words. So this is a complicated word. So we're not going to go into that. But it means tightness, trouble, transitively a female rival, adversary, adversity, affliction, anguish, distress, tribulation, and trouble. Completely different side of the spectrums. And the word is explaining both as a separate type of relationship, which is what we're talking about today. It's not the same relationship, right? Otherwise, the Bible would say, wait, what does it say? A friend loves all the times, and a friend is born from adversity. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say a brother loves all times, and a brother is born from adversity. It's dissecting them into two. Now, mind you, if we go back to the verses that we read in Proverbs, there's the friend that stick closer than their brother. So there's someone out there, and this is the beauty about it, and this is exactly what we're talking about today, that in a relation, from a relationship standpoint, can do both. But it's counted, right? It's not all of them, right? It's not like, oh, everybody can do it, right? Proverbs 27:10, is that it? Let's see. Nope. Proverbs 18:24. Yes, Proverbs 18:24. This is a very good explanation, right? This is how it all ties in together. He that makes many friends does it for his own destruction, but there is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. You can have those friends. You have many of those friends. You can also have brothers, so you have brothers. But there is that friend, right? This is singular, but there's a friend, singular. So that tells you that they're counted, that stick is closer than a brother. That's what we're going to talk about today, fellas. That's how it all comes together. It was complicated, I know. We didn't want to make it complicated, but we wanted you guys to understand. We did already the do's and don'ts. We already talked about how this is a whole that was visual to God from day one creation, not day one, day 6, day 7, after day 6 and 7. But we want you guys to understand now what kind of relationship does that entitle, right? And we're gonna go deeper into this, by the way, because we're gonna talk about next week about how friendships is one of the goals in the gospel. We're gonna talk about make disciples and what does that mean, right? That's you're building a structure around you. You're surrounded by a community. You're surrounding yourself by friends, and you have a common goal, which is unbelievable. So we'll talk about that. We're gonna talk about how the cross is the most heroic act of friendship, right? If someone was going to show you what a true friend does, that is Jesus, right? And what he did on the cross. Mind you, again, if you're having a relationship with him, that's the kind of relationship he's bringing you. Hence what we talk about the new covenant today, because it's the kind of relationship that God has with his people. That's a relationship, right? That's something that happens in a relationship. And this kind of relationship. We also need to talk about how Jesus can be our true friend, right? Which is unbelievable on its own, and we all should feel that way. And we also need to talk about how friendships with one another and with God is a source of joy. So this we did kind of like the last 3 weeks, guys. We kind of did the building of understanding, like friendships and the relationship itself. Now we're gonna tie it to what it means from like a spiritual and like a Christian standpoint, which is beautiful in its own. Because mind you, we haven't said anything about like loving one another or sacrificing for one another. Briefly, Adrian and John did say it today, right? Briefly, but there's some examples in the New Testament, especially of just how amazing that expands to. So we're gonna go to the final thoughts, but I'll make that my final thought just because, and I probably just took y'all's both time. But if you guys feel like having final thoughts, that's great. So I'm sorry. It's just I really wanted to. This was special to me. I like this because it makes the topic just so much more important than just, oh yeah, we're just friends, right? We're really good friends. I feel like it's so much deeper than that, and a relationship like that understands. And I've been on the side of the equation where I get to be blessed by this kind of relationship, and is unique, different than my brothers, like actual blood brothers, and different about even my really good friends. My best of friends is just completely different, and I feel it, and I understand. So I don't know. That's just me, guys. Do we have final thoughts, or was the dealio here? Going once? Yes, yes.
I don't know if this is final thoughts. So I've been doing a lot of thinking, right? Because so before this, I couldn't really think of a reason why. Because I was always of the belief that brothers were more than friends, right? I think that's kind of where everybody's coming from. And I think my wife actually is the person that taught me this just now. The first thing that she said, which was, it's more valuable when someone who doesn't have to love you loves you, right? And is loving towards you and is supporting of you, right?
Oh.
And I think that's really honestly it. I can't think of another reason why a brother would be more or wouldn't be more valuable than a friend, right? I think even when you look at the military, right, like the Marines, for example, they call each other brothers in arms, right? I think humans or us, even myself, we're very quick to replace our blood family with non-blood family, right? Because when someone truly goes out of their way to love you, and in a true sense of love, right, not just like what a lot of people think love is, right, like true love, I think that has a lot more value than you're supposed to love me. You know what I mean? And so I guess it's just something I've never really thought about before. It's definitely something I learned today. I learn lots of things every time we have a Bible talk, but this especially was, I guess, an area of weakness in my life. And so I'm glad we had this conversation because I learned a lot,
That's dope, dude.
And yeah, I learned a lot from my wife today and you.
You're blessed enough to have a wifey like that, dude. I got one like that too. So just saying. Good point. I like that the fact you can be burnable, burnable,
vulnerable.
Say it one more time.
I'm gonna be vulnerable while I get them wafers.
Say it one more time for me, please.
Vulnerable.
I'm blushing, yo. What?
Vulnerable. Yeah.
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
It's kind of like Wednesday. It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. That I can't say.
English is dumb. We need to go back to Latin.
Yeah.
Vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Thank you. Yeah, that's more my jam. That's good, John. I like that. I agree with you. It's beautiful to see. So it's awesome. AI, final thoughts from you, buddy?
Oh man, the spirit is not with me this week as much as it was last week. Other than just what John said, like it is, it's interesting to take these verses. And what was the number? 37 times that Proverbs mentions the word friends.
17 so far. We haven't 17? Finished. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's just crazy that to look at these Bible verses with kind of the pinpoint, the focus being on friends and friendship, and like John said.
I'm sorry.
Yes, for the third week in a row, actually.
Always be there. Sorry, I'll stop.
It's I lost my train of thought.
Good
I'm
job, John.
sorry.
Good
I'm
for
sorry.
you,
I'll
John.
stop.
Way to
I'm
go.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
It's okay. I didn't have much anyways. I was just gonna piggyback off of what John and Leader said anyways. It's just cool to have look at these verses with under the microscope, under the lens of friendship, and comparing it side by side of friendship and brotherhood. Because like John, oh hey, I remember now. So my train of thought earlier was that it's I always thought that to be a brother was to be closer, because we call someone that like we say like, hey, like this is my bro, this is my brother, and all that stuff. And yeah, like what like kudos to what John said via what Lauren said about
Via what Jesus said.
via what Jesus said.
Yes, sir.
About having someone that chooses to love you when they don't have to, like that that definitely speaks volumes. So I don't have any revelating thought today.
That's okay.
You guys took it all.
I
I
think
have a
it's,
question.
yeah, shoot.
Okay, so Adam and Eve, right? There was only two of them.
Uh-huh.
The original Bonnie and Clyde.
Right? But then those children obviously had to procreate with each other, so they had to get married,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, does that mean that the first couple, other than Adam and Eve, were best friends and related siblings?
I guess so. Not that it really matter because creation is like
Where would they fall in the relationship that we're talking about
that's
now?
a really great question. That's a really great question. We will have to talk to like a theologist about this
Well,
because I got
your siblings can still be your best friends.
that is true. Lauren, it's what Lauren said, John, right?
Lauren
today.
said it
Lauren
earlier
said you're
that
right.
Her best
yeah.
friend is her sister. I don't know. It's a good question. I feel like it's different because creation, like pre-flood worlds, follow very different rules, right? There's been three periods, like three major periods that we live on. The period of law, which is pre-flood, right? Or
So it was the age of innocence before the flood, then the age of law, and then the age of grace.
Thank you. The age of innocence, then the age of law. Thank you, and then the age of grace. And whenever you are in the age of innocence, the rules were completely different.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to. That's a phenomenal question, actually, John.
We should
Maybe
totally
we
have
can
a Bible
all
talk about before the flood.
We should
It's great.
totally talk about that. I think that would be really cool to do some reading into this and kind of research because it's completely different.
There's tons of theories, but like there's nothing real concrete because the Bible doesn't really say a whole lot about before the flood.
And I don't think you're supposed to know. I think we're supposed to know what we know. Like I think what has been written is what we need. Like God knows for like spiritual what we need. He also likes us to dig, though, right?
Yeah.
He says that there's nothing hidden that shouldn't be revealed.
Yeah.
In making us wanting to have the desire of get it out, right? Which is pretty dope.
I don't know where it is. I feel like it's somewhere. Someone's probably gonna have to look it up and tell me because I'm an idiot. But somewhere in the Bible it says God calls himself the God of secrets, which I think is cool.
I don't know about maybe a different translation. I don't know.
Maybe
it could be. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. We could potentially talk about that. But mind you, this is completely different now.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
And
I completely perverted the conversation.
That's okay. I mean, it was a really good question. I just feel like I don't think there's a way to answer it with what we talked today to relate it to them.
Definitely not.
And I would even challenge like the change from like the age of innocence versus the age of the law. I think those two periods in itself are completely different. So I don't know. Tangent that we went on the side because Mr. John's family wanted to go to. What is the wifey saying? I think the sinner on the cross. I'm glad that this is covering John's face.
Hey,
I think of the sinner on the cross next to Jesus, who was probably a complete stranger to him. maybe that sinner would have been impacted if his blood siblings tried to take his place on the cross. Oh, we're going to talk about that later. But for a stranger, Christ to step in and take up on the cross, the sinner could spend eternity with God is profound and more impactful. Not just because of who Jesus is, but it's also because there was no obligation. We are going to talk about that either next or the episode after that, baby. So hang in tight because that's obviously completely different, yet in the same realm of understanding friendships to this level, right? Anywho, chat, we went on a tangent. We didn't mean to, but that was a solid question that John had. And I feel like this is the kind of questions that chat would have from time to time. So it's good. Unfortunately, I don't think neither were we prepared to talk about that, nor it relates very good to what we're talking about. But solid question regardless. Either way, hence why we're doing this. This is a great proof of, right? This is a great proof of what we're here. We love doing this. We love learning, understanding, investigating, researching, and we all love the YMCA. Chat, we love you. We'll see you next time. We'll see you next time. See you next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central, same time, same place.
Come join us in the